So there's three things that I want to talk to you guys today about, and forgive my voice, I'm still recovering, but these are some really exciting topics, and I'd love to know your thoughts on any and all of these. I could switch into like an Alex Jones impersonation and sound probably pretty fine for anybody who's new, but for anybody who's returning, be like, what the hell is he doing? What's going on? But hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. If you're new, by the way, my name's Brian. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, you magnificent legend, or welcome back to the truth factor, or whatever the hell we're calling this thing. But beyond jokes aside, there's three things I want to talk to you guys today about. We've obviously seen the launch of Brimstone Sands. This is going exceedingly well so far at the time of this recording, and there's a lot of things that I want to kind of point out to you guys about this build of the game itself. And then if you're having some trouble, I've seen a couple of reports like key bindings missing, things like that. I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to address that. So note that I'll talk a little bit more about that in this video. I also want to talk about native controller support coming to the game. If you guys haven't seen, I updated it in Discord. I also updated it in on the channel community tab. Be a part of the Discord if you guys aren't already. The links are all in the description. We play together every Friday night, but we're always chatting, talking. You don't even need to be a part of the server. We'll talk about servers and stuff like that as well in this video. And I forgot about the third thing. You know, that's just the nature of it. I'm sure it's going to, the numbers, how New World is performing so far this week, and just, you know, with all the launch and the hype, and obviously with the fresh start servers on their way. So lots of information, a lot of things that we can kind of talk about in this one video. Hopefully you guys enjoy. And again, forgive my voice, and I don't think I'm going to talk like this the whole show, namely because I would probably get annoyed myself, but it does sound pretty daggum funny, and I'm going to have to take this into the comedy clubs. Somebody did call me a ginger Alex Jones, and I've been trying to work on perfecting the impression. You can let me know if I'm anywhere in the ballpark, and that'd be great. I'd love that feedback. All right, first things first, controller support versus loadouts. Scott Lane was recently on the New World to Go podcast with Redbird and Link. I don't know why I said Link, BDLG. My brain's still probably a little fuzzy from this cold, but they asked about controller support, and Scott says that New World would be perfect for it. And in fact, it's on the list. They want to bring in native controller support, and this is huge for me. Now, it's not huge for me in the sense that I think it's going to make my New World career, if you kind of think of it in those terms. I don't. It's huge because I've been advocating for this for a long time, and I think New World is going to benefit because of it, especially outside of just comfort issues. I know that people use my controller guides and setups for ease of access, whether they have a disability and they want to play the game, and that's actually a very important thing. In fact, if this makes me completely irrelevant in terms of like that piece of content, awesome. I never want to sit here, and I want the game to always be better. I always want to advocate for all the voices that I hear and try to kind of lift those up and make sure that you guys feel heard as well. So it's not about me. It's not about the Brian Show. I just happen to be the guy on camera. And so, yes, if that actually makes my controller guides completely irrelevant, then even better, because that means the game is better and it means more people can access it without the need of somebody like me as a content creator in that space. So this is great. Now, here's the catch 22, is that the team that would be working on that is also the team that is working on loadouts. And here's where you guys need to let your feedback be known. I'm going to let you guys mine, and it might not align with yours. And honestly, I would say I would benefit more personally if loadouts were introduced sooner and then controller support at some point down the road. Now, I'm hoping not to think that controller support is years down the road, but more or less if we're like, hey, loadouts, and then, you know, maybe 6 months later, you know, sometime in the next year or two that we have like all of those things, that'd be great. Being that we're seeing loadout data being staged into the PTR, my impression is that they're also in that same kind of alignment. Let's get loadouts in, and then you kind of think of all the UI and systems that have to get put into place. And then that can have them go in and say, okay, now what does controller support look like with all of these updated UI tools and more? So just note that I think this is going to be a really big thing for the game, both of those features, but they're both features from the same team. And in development, that means let's work on one thing and get it done, and work on the next thing and get it done. So I think this is going to be really good and really good for the player base as well. You guys can let me know. You can obviously put your feedback in. You might not be a controller player, and that's perfectly fine. But I think this is going to benefit everybody and really open up the game to more and more people, and even the potential for bringing it to consoles, which Scott said consoles, but it could have just been a slip of the tongue and, thinking controller and then, replacing it with the word console. But New World could also be a really awesome MMO on consoles as well, being that we're seeing more and more of that, and that becomes a bigger question. You can always sound off with your agreements or disagreements. I always enjoy reading your comments, and maybe we'll do a follow-up video to this, especially when my voice is feeling better. As a heads up, guys, if you've already made it this far in the video, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, these are great ways of helping this video out in the algorithm. Same thing with commenting. And if you guys feel like going above and beyond, we have a podcast called Epic Loot Radio. MP3s are all you can sub to on anywhere podcasts are found. Baggins TV is going to be coming on the podcast next. It was scheduled for tonight, but clearly I'm not 100% yet. So we're going to try doing that live tomorrow over on Ginger Prime. If you're curious, you want to come hang out. All right. I want to talk to you guys about the build. Already this build runs better. It runs faster. It feels smoother. I was noticing that in the PTR. I don't know if you guys are noticing that here on live as well. Love to know if you guys feel that same kind of approach. The UI just feels snappier. Everything just feels like it works better. All that being said, bringing this all together and, kind of one whole idea, if you are having issues, check your key bindings and check your Steam verify files. Just right click on the game properties, verify files within that setup. That can generally fix a lot of issues. What you might not have noticed is this is actually a whole new client. They've really overhauled the entire client with this game, and that's why I think a lot of performance improvements are being reported. I feel like the game's just running better. Some people still, are going to have issues, and that's the nature of PC gaming. It can be kind of a challenge in that respect. You take that and you build it into the Steam Deck, and so I've got it running on Steam Deck. I was in queue last night, so I wasn't able to give a real good impression. But what I've experienced prior to this is that trying to load into town would crash out the game, even on lowest settings. But loading out into the open world, that seemed to solve the problem. I'm going to be testing that on the Steam Deck with the latest build and see if any of that's been improved upon. And I'll give you guys my findings. I'll give you guys any kind of tips and tricks to kind of help better manage that. And so that's just something I think is a really important thing when it comes to this build and when it comes to the release. All in all, some minor issues, seems like everything's going really well. I'm sure they've already got a list of some bug things that are rocking. I've been kind of following threads on the forums, other different things that need to get fixed, and that's just kind of the natural iteration of it. But so far, it seems like a very, very smooth launch. I was not able to join in because I was unfortunately sick. That's just the nature of it, and so I'm looking forward to diving in this Friday if you guys want to come hang out. I'm planning on doing the new player experience and also getting into Brimstone, so lots to do, lots to catch up on, and a lot of content to get ready for. So it's an exciting time to be a player of this game. And then this is kind of the third thing, the numbers, absolutely shattering, breaking the previous record, getting to 65,000 concurrent users during peak yesterday. I'm sure we're going to see that kind of just even itself out. The question is how will this weekend look with all the new content? And then obviously we have November 2nd as the Fresh Start server launch day. That will invite some people back in. The question is how many are we going to be looking at? Personally speaking, the number I'm kind of thinking of and have been thinking of this whole time is around 80K. So we're just shy of that by 15,000 concurrent players. I don't think concurrency matters. I will be doing my my monthly player report, breaking down what the numbers look like in terms of monthly active users and how everything's trending over on Twitch as well, just to always kind of get a good idea of what's going on. I think it's interesting data to have, especially for discussion points, because it does help refute a lot of the bad information that you usually get on the internet. You'll still see people saying, hey, I thought this game was dead, or I heard this game sucked, so I avoided it, but then I started playing it, and oh my gosh, what a good game. And that's kind of always the thing where what I always said is I'm not worried about people who, share that they think this game sucks. That's if that's their opinion of it, that's perfectly fine. But when you actually go and play it, it actually will put that to the test. And the game itself has such a low barrier of entry in terms of its price point and in terms of not having a subscription that at the end of the day, if you've already bought it, maybe you didn't enjoy it last year, maybe you come back and check it out and see what it's all changed and what it's all about. I think that's a really good thing in the long run. And so that's what I think people are going to be testing and what's going to be changing. And if we hit 80K, I think that's going to be a beautiful thing to see. What we did see is New World did get into the top 10 Steam games. It was actually number 9. In fact, I think there was a bug on Steam because I eventually just jumped up to number 2, but some of the numbers didn't necessarily look right across the board because it would say what number it was. You click on it and it was double that. So maybe Steam was having kind of Steam charts was having an issue, but that's neither here nor there. It's not my intention to waste your time with my with all my raspiness in this regards, but I did want to sit down today and tell you guys the good news, kind of walk through some of my thoughts that I've been having, and I look forward to making some more content and diving in with you guys this week as soon as everything kind of shakes itself out, and I'm obviously a much better orator and communicator, not an Alex Jones type or something like that. Anyway, let me know about any of the thoughts that we kind of talked about here today. I'd love to hear them. Thanks so much for being here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. But until then, take care. that was less Alex Jones and it was definitely more Texan. But anyway, well, I'll keep working on it. Anyway, see you guys.